Hello everyone, it's Snady, and today we're going to be comparing the Natasha Denona Glam Palette to the ColourPop Stone Cold Fox Palette. As you beautiful people know, this is about the products, not the people behind them. Any tiff you may have with them, please cast it away because this is a channel of positive energy, okay? Thank you. Oh, my little custard-filled creamsicles, how you doing today? I hope wherever you're at in the world, you're having a fantastic day so far. My camera's leaning just a little bit. Hopefully you can't see it, but I can see it, and it's like driving me crazy. Not gonna fix it right now, though. We're too far into this. I myself am doing absolutely wonderful, except there's some new neighbor kids, and I'm coming dangerously close to being that little old man that, like, shouts at kids with his walker. I never realized that children's laughter turned me into, like, a demogorgon, but here we are. No, I'm kidding. At least they're having a good time, but I'm probably also gonna have a good time in here testing these out. I'm so excited for this. I recently tested out the new ColourPop palette, Stone Cold Fox. Kind of pricey for ColourPop, but it actually was worth it. Like, I would have paid double. And then I did also somewhat recently review the Natasha Denona Glam palette, and I don't remember loving this. I think it was just okay, which sadly is kind of how I felt about a lot of their products lately, which is hard to say because I love this brand. But so many inexpensive brands, and especially indie brands, are stepping their kitties up, and some of them are actually better than the more expensive brands. Like, I apologize to the cult following that Natasha Denona has. Like, I too have creamed my dainties over her palettes, but sometimes there actually is a really good dupe that's just as good in quality. A lot of times when I'm reviewing more expensive ass palettes like this or things from Pat McGrath, I'll try to include cheaper color dupes. It typically does not match the quality, but for somebody who might have the cheaper shadow and wants to achieve a similar look, I'll try to give that option. But in this case, the quality actually was very, very similar. I would say there's probably like 6 or 8 shadows that are very, very close, but I do think you could achieve a lot of the same looks with this palette as you could with this. And again, this brand does have banging shit. I'm not saying that, but like, so does this sometimes. So let's open these up and put them next to each other. They do kind of have a big difference. Like, at first, when you hold them next to each other, they don't really look that similar. Like, this one is very, very cool, but then when you kind of squint and look a little bit closer, they do kind of look the same-ish, which is what a lot of people say about me and Antoni from Queer Eye. I'm just kidding. Nobody's ever fucking said that. I wish. I'm gonna start off with this shade, Center Lid. Oh my god, those do feel like heaven. I actually don't see a dupe that's in the ColourPop one. In the pan, they do look very similar, but once they're on my finger, they aren't close at all. So I probably won't find a dupe in this palette for that one. Let's move on to the next shadow, which is Outer Shadow right here. And for the dupe, I guess, we're gonna try Caving In from the ColourPop palette. The one from ColourPop on camera looks like it has a gold undertone. It really doesn't in person, but then this one from Natasha has kind of like a charcoal undertone. Oh yeah, that is definitely different, but I feel like it's similar enough that you could get the same look, but they are not the same color. However, they feel extremely similar. In fact, I actually prefer the feel of the ColourPop one. It just lays down better. It looks less chunky. So this is the shadow inner corner, and then I actually combined Hard Place with Baby Doll on my middle finger. No, they aren't the same. In fact, I do kind of feel like most of the mattes will be what are dupeable, but here's the Denona one, and then here is the ColourPop blend. Oh fuck, the ColourPop one is way darker. This is kind of a fail. The only reason I'm continuing is because when I reviewed this palette, I actually pulled shades from the Natasha palette that were very, very similar, so I know they exist. I just kind of want to go down the line. The next shadow from Denona is Crease. I don't even know if you can see it on my finger, but there is a shadow in the ColourPop palette that's somewhat similar, but again, it's not exact. So here's Natasha, and then here's the ColourPop one. Close, but not the same. In fact, I think on camera they look way different, but this is one of the shadows that the ColourPop one feels way better than the Natasha one. Like, the Natasha one isn't sticking, it's flying all over, but the ColourPop one is there, it's pigmented, it's bold, it's beautiful. So give me just like half a minute to really look over this and study this. I know, I'm a YouTuber, I should have my shit together, but also I'm a YouTuber. What YouTuber has their shit together? Just kidding, most of them do. I'm just gonna go through and swatch what I think are kind of dupes, and we can create looks with those shadows. Hold on. All right, so here we have all of the shades that are, for the most part, similar-ish. Like, some of the undertones are a little bit different, especially with these two shimmers right there, but in person, they look hella close. Starting at the bottom, every other one is the Natasha Denona shadow, and I really can't tell the difference in quality between them. They just feel really, really close. No, the shades aren't exact, but when they're applied to the eyes and blended out, I don't know that if you had one on each side, somebody would really be able to tell the difference. However, there were quite a few shades in this palette that aren't in the ColourPop palette. Like, this gold isn't in there. A lot of the shimmers just are missing. And so if you're the kind of person that really likes these shimmers, then you might want this palette. However, I do think that these shimmers are just as good for the most part. They're just different colors. I love getting deep with y'all, and the deeper I'm getting into this video, I'm realizing that these would probably complement each other more than they would dupe each other. But I am still gonna try them against each other on each eye because they might perform completely different. One might last longer, one might need more dips. You never know, and for a lot of people, this still might be worth a high price tag. But then for a lot of people, this might suffice just fine. So let's hop right into a look. I'm gonna go in with Touch in Sol's No Problem Primer, which I'm now just seeing there's a fuck ton of shimmer still on my palm, so I'm gonna apply this to my wrist, otherwise my face will look like the Tin Man's vibrator. And then for foundation today, I'm gonna go in with Makeup Revolution's little shade stick in the shade F4. I'm almost to the end of it. I just want to use it up so I can throw it away and make room for more shit. Oh my, this is very, very light. How we doing on the Match-O-Meter? I feel like this is like a 5. No, it's not that bad. This to me is more like a 7 because normally I'm way too dark or way too yellow. This is just a little bit pale on my ass. But I'm not upset about a 7, that's fine. Just don't know if I have a concealer that's lighter than this. Wow, that is really fucking light. Fuck. Oh wait, I have another color in here. Oh shit, this might be even lighter. Oh goddamn. I'm gonna have so many colors layered on my face. When I take this off, it'll be like one of those jawbreakers. Okay, I brought a little bit of life back to my face, but now I'm fucking yellow. I went in with this ColourPop in medium 85C. Hopefully that looks okay on camera. I don't even know at this point. Not that I really even need any more coverage, but I'm still gonna go and conceal with my Maybelline Instant Age Rewind, mixed with a tiny bit of ColourPop's Pretty Fresh. And then I'm gonna dust some powder all over my face. Here we go. Do I look like a porcelain dragon? Now to prime the eyes, I'm gonna go in with my favorite Gerard Cosmetics blank canvas. Or is it clean canvas? My god, I've said it so many times I don't remember. So on this side, I'm gonna go in with a Denono palette, and then this side I'll do ColourPop, and then each time I'll color switch my brush, which is just a little device that I swirl it in, and it gets all the pigments out. But let's start with this shade right here, which is Blend. I think we have a dupe for that. And we're gonna place this bad boy right in the crease. Oh god, that just feels so nice, and it blends itself out. There we go, we're a little bit closer. The thing about these shadows though, and it happens a lot with Natasha Denona palettes and pretty much every fucking palette, but the moment it hits my primer, it instantly turns a little bit darker. I'm still able to blend it out effortlessly, but some shadows just turn dark and a little bit sickly looking when they hit primer. And both of these palettes do have shades that kind of transform like that, so I'm interested to see if they'll transform into the same thing. But I've gone in with 2 dips on this side. It blends out in like 5 seconds flat, so easy, and it really is a lovely color, like, oh my goodness. Now for the other side, I'm gonna dip into Quarry Days, and this brush has been cleaned. It should have no pigment on it, but let's take this right in the crease line just like we did before, and this one turns super fucking dark, way darker than the other shadow, which is interesting because in the pan it's actually lighter than the Natasha one. But let's see if they kind of blend out to be the same. I will say though, 1 dip into the ColourPop palette has way more pigment than 2 dips into that Natasha palette did. For some people that's good, for some people that isn't. A lot of people like to be able to build it up, but it is just as easy to blend out. It did take a little bit more effort because there was more pigment, and like clearly the ColourPop one is a bit darker. I don't know if that's because there's more shadow on there, but the colors do look different, which like I always say is just another reason why swatches really don't mean jack shit, because next to each other on my arm or my hand they might look so close, but once they're put to the test they're different. But on camera they might look very, very similar, and I will say, like, just looking at myself, it just looks like I applied a little bit more shadow to this side. And because the shadows aren't exactly the same and there's only a few that are similar, we're kind of limited on what we can do here. We'll probably really only be able to make a basic smoky eye. We'll do a cut crease so that we can test the shimmers out on both sides, but don't expect this look to be like 20 different shadows because we don't have that option with this. I'm pretty sure you'll be able to tell a bigger difference between the two than I'll be able to, because just looking at them, they are very, very similar, but when I add all the saturation and shit to this video, it'll really bring out the colors. Right on the outer corner here, I'm gonna dip into Smoke. I'm just gonna place it right here on the outer corner and start working it into the eye socket. Oh god, that's a pretty color. And when I first apply shadows like this, I kind of prefer to stipple it in and then go in and blend. Just like that. Oh my gosh. Very nice. Let's clean this brush. And for the ColourPop side, I'm going to go into Fickle Fate. And here we go. I'm going to start by tapping it right here on the outer corner and do the exact same, pushing it into the eye socket. And with both of these palettes, there's been like no fallout, which to me is surprising because when you dip into both palettes, there's actually quite a bit of kickback. But I'm glad to see that the product sticks both to the eye and the brush. The ColourPop one though, at least with this color, isn't quite as easy to blend out. I do have to work it around a little little bit more. But Daddy would never say no to a good-ass challenge. In fact, I'm actually gonna dip in twice for the ColourPop side, which may have been a mistake because now this side is like way darker. I tried to find a happy medium and I did not find it, so I'm gonna clean this brush off and go in with a little bit more of the Natasha on this side. I don't know, the ColourPop side just isn't blending out quite as easily as the Natasha side. I think I'm actually gonna leave both of these be for now and cut both creases, which will probably really bring both of these looks together, which makes sense because I'm covering half of what I just fucking laid down. But I kind of feel like at this point I am able to tell whether or not these really are dupes, but we'll give this a little bit more time and I'll give my final verdict at the very end. Okay, so there we have that. I know I did cover up a good bit, but I'm actually gonna rebuild up those mattes on the outer corner later. But for now, let's try the shimmers. I'm gonna go in with inner corner on my finger and I'm gonna place it on the inner corner. Oh my god, this is so hard to be precise. You can totally use these with like a foam brush or just a wet brush, or if you have smaller fingers than my caveman phalanges, then that might work good too. But that totally is a beautiful color. It's not the most reflective in the world. I do kind of want a little bit more, but it's good. For this price tag, I just want like the best of the best, and to me, the shimmer is just kind of average. Then for the ColourPop side, I'm gonna go in with I Dig It, which this shadow feels extremely similar. Let's see how it performs. Get it right up in all them nooks and crannies. It looks very close, am I wrong? Even though the ColourPop side to me was a little bit darker overall, like these don't look that different, do they? Which isn't saying a whole lot because I did cover quite a bit of the look up with the concealer for cutting the crease, but still. One thing though that I am noticing is that the ColourPop side, the shimmer is kind of starting to crease up on me, whereas the Natasha side, it is laying there like a boss. This bitch is taking it like a champ. So for now, I'm just gonna let this be and we can kind of see how it wears over time. Maybe this one will end up creasing, I don't know. But now to deepen up this outer corner, I'm gonna go in with some lash line and I'm gonna gently tap this right here and then kind of feather it inwards. Even before I get it on my eyeball, it's blended out. Fuck me up, honey. And then I'm also gonna take some of that same shadow about halfway in on the lower lash and just try to blend those together so they kind of meet right here on the outer corner. And then I do plan on doing a little bit of a wing, so I did drag that out probably farther than I normally would, but we're gonna work with it. For the ColourPop side, I'm gonna go in with Drama Mama, and we'll do the same thing, just kind of stipple it right here on the outer corner and then blend it around. God, this one has so much fucking pigment, so I'm just gonna take it right down to the lower lash and just work it around in a C motion. And then with a flat angled brush, I'm gonna really get right in between those lashes and just help darken them up. I'm just using that same color, but I'm also gonna ignore like 1/10 of my inner eye so that I can highlight it. Same for the other side. All right, so here we are with both of our final looks. Before I zoom out and give the final verdict, I thought we could take a little close peeky at them. So in person, this side to me looks the slightest bit more warm and gold, whereas this side is cooler. It's a little bit more silver. However, if I didn't know that both of them were from different palettes, I really wouldn't be able to tell any difference. You might be seeing something completely different, so please let me know down in the comments below. But I really don't think either side really looks that bad. But in the end, do I think that these are really dupes for each other? Not exactly. I think the Natasha side was so much easier to work with. The quality of the shadows is just there. It is somewhat similar on the ColourPop side, like the shadows do kind of want to blend themselves out, but some of the shadows are kind of difficult to work with. They're not unpleasant, but they do take a little bit more effort. I've had both of the shimmers on for quite a while now, and they actually both have the slightest bit of fallout. It's really not that bad though. The shimmer on the ColourPop side, I think is the slightest bit creasy, whereas the Natasha one, it stayed pretty much the same. It's just really beautiful looking. Some of the ColourPop shadows did have a little bit more pigment to them, but I'd almost rather give that up to have the blendability that the Natasha side had. And I think personally, like looking in the camera, I do like the way the Natasha one looks better, but that might just be my liner, I can't tell. But even though some of the colors were very similar, they're not the same. I actually think that if you have the Natasha palette, you might want to grab this. I think it'll make your Natasha palette go way farther because I think the way that they could complement each other is beautiful. However, if you have this palette, I don't think that you need the Natasha palette. I don't think either palette is perfect, but it's almost like when they're together, they're closer to perfection than they are when they're alone. I just really think that this is like the perfect combination. Like if you're a makeup artist, this is a combination that I would definitely recommend you have in your kit because you have all the cool ColourPop little bastards and then you have some warmth from the Natasha palette and it just like works. So a dupe, not necessarily. Very close, yes, but together, oh my goodness, I'm gonna have to go change myself. So yes, there you go. This was really fun. I like doing these comparison videos. No, it was a little bit of a shit show, but that's the kind of entertainment you get from this channel. Oh, I also forgot to mention for lips, I'm wearing Lunar Boutete's Witch Bitch, as well as Makeup Revolutions. I don't know, this is like a vampy color. Oh, the shade is Reckless. This is actually one of the very first lipsticks that I ever got. I still have it, and I'm sure it's very expired, but I love it. Anyways, thank you so much for being here. I love having you. And if you'd like to support me and my channel a little bit more, please feel free to join us over on Patreon. It's patreon.com/poplux. There you get videos a day early, you get Patreon-only content, plus best part, it is cheap, fun, and fancy, just like me. And like always, please be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell down below so that you're notified anytime I upload a new video. Don't forget my newest collection of highlighters, including Black Ice, which does change from black to white, is available at thepoplux.com. Also, my latest album, Kiss of Fame, is available everywhere online that music is sold. Thank you so much to everyone who's supporting them. Comment down below, let me know what you thought of this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Snapchat, Instagram, and Twitter at OfficialNady, and you can follow me online at thepoplux.com. Thank you so much for watching. I love you all, and I will see you again soon. Bye.